Hi, Tom Cole, the coach for Buckeye Cable System and BCSN, and welcome into another edition of Sports Flash. And really an honor and a privilege for me to welcome in head coach Jim Lyle from Siena Heights and star football player Donovan Campbell. Gentlemen, welcome. Thanks so much for being with us. Jimmy, I'm going to start with you. We go way back, put you in the way back machine. But first, I'm going to take you to Michigan. You were a player at Michigan with one of the greatest college coaches in the history of football, Bo Schembechler. You played in a Rose Bowl team. I got to ask you, what was Bo like? Give me a Bo. What was it like to play for Bo?
Bo was demanding. As a freshman, we were basically terrified of him.
Yeah.
As a sophomore, you don't really like him because you think he should be playing that much.
Yeah.
But as a junior and senior, you start to understand all this talk about character and integrity and how he really viewed football as a conduit to make you a better man. So I was not a great player, but Bo spent a whole day with me in my student teaching. I used to student teach at Amat Children's Hospital.
Yes.
And he spent the whole day, no fanfare, no publicity, but he went from hospital bed to hospital bed.
Right.
So he was a very caring man. He cared about his players.
Yeah, well, you have to be a very good player to be at Michigan. And number one, I know you're a humble guy. But you saw a lot of great players. Give me one guy, because when you play, Donovan's a great player. We did the games at Siena Heights, and we'll talk to him. And he really is a terrific player. But you see sometimes a guy out in the field, whether it's your guy at Michigan on a practice field or somebody you played against, and you see greatness. If you see it in football, you know it. Sometimes you can't describe it. You can't get your arms around it. But when you see greatness in football, it jumps out at you. Give me one guy in your playing career that you said, oh my gosh, I don't believe how good this guy is.
Dave Gallagher.
Okay.
First-round draft pick of the Chicago Bears in 1974 from Piqua, Ohio. We were defensive linemen together, and as we did our tackling drills, you'd kind of count down and you go, oh man, I got him. So you knew what was going on. He's a great friend.
Yeah.
But when you were on the practice field,
it's all business.
He was going to knock you out.
Yeah.
And he was that type. He was a true All-American in practice and then certainly in the games. He was the MVP of the Ohio State-Michigan game my senior year in '73.
Well, Jimmy, I'm going to segue to Donovan real quick, number 9 in the program. When you said All-American, Donovan, Jim and I have been in the game our entire life, forever. And to have All-American put next to your name as a football player, I can't imagine, the feeling that would be. That's got to be like a Rocky movie. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, you mentioned that you guys have been in it, your whole lives.
Yes.
I think I've only played about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, accomplishing something like that in a short amount of time, individually, it was just, I was proud of it. I actually still remember the day I got the call from Coach Thornblade. I was actually at home on winter break. I was actually playing NCAA football with my little then 9-year-old brother. I actually was losing. And, and I got the call from Thornblade, and he says, hey, DC. I said, what's up, Coach Thornblade? He's like, nothing much, man. And I got some news for you. I said, what's up? He goes, congratulations, you're our first-team All-American. And I sat there for a minute. I paused the game, and I said, what?
Yeah.
So it was. I was in such disbelief at first, but then I went to the website and everything, look it up, and there was my name, among some of the best players in the country, and it was a great feeling. It was a great feeling. It's something I don't gloat about, not something I tell many people if they don't ask. There's a picture of me on the wall, like outside of our weight room in our football building. And it's just like people, always reference back to that. So if they don't bring it up, I don't bring it up.
Sure.
So like I said, something I'm proud of, but something I don't really gloat about.
Donovan, we were privileged to do, Coach let us do your games, Siena Heights, all the home football games. It was a great honor for us on the BCSN network. It was well received in our viewing audience. It was, tremendously well received. But you're an unusual tight end because, I got to do color in the games, and they'd flex you out. Mm-hmm. It's a tremendous mismatch. You can be inside and be a regular tight end and, run post routes and block and do all those things that a regular tight end. But to be able to flex you out on the outside, and then suddenly you're lined up against a 5'10" corner that weighs 160 pounds. That's got to be. You got to be smiling when you come out of the huddle, and that's it, because you know that you're going to. you're going to beat this guy.
Definitely. You know, I'm licking my chops, as they say. You know, you see the guy smaller than you. I'm 6 feet, 240 pounds, and a match up against a guy who's, like you said, 5'10", 170, 180. And I just know that it's a win. And even if I was matched up against someone my size, I like.
Yeah, with your body. I mean, you got a great tight end body.
It's a win all the way around, and that's just the confidence I have going out in the field. Once I step in between those lines, I'm the best player out there, and I don't let anyone tell me any different.
And you have to think that way. I mean, you have to. That's great for young kids to hear, because there's a difference between being, you know, overly confident. That's not being overly confident. You have to believe that you can do that. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a visualization that, you know, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to body this corner up and we're going to make plays, and that's the way it's going to go today. Right. You know, yeah. Jimmy, you did something that, you know, really is impossible to do, I think. You know, you come in and you start a program at Siena Heights. This was your 4th year. You win a league championship, go 6-4, 5-1 in the league. Jim, that doesn't happen. I mean, because you're starting a program from, hey, we got to get equipment. You know, do we have a locker room? Is there a field that we can play on? I mean, you're starting at the root base. You have no history. You have no tradition. You have no alums in football. And in 4 years, you win a league championship. Jim, I'm telling you, that doesn't happen. How were you able to accomplish that?
Well, thanks, Tom, first of all. Great support. Right from the very beginning, you had an opportunity to present to the community at Siena Heights, from the president to the faculty, to the alums, to the board. And they loved the idea of building a football program the correct way. We told them that, you know, the phrase I used over and over, I'm too old to chase knuckleheads.
I love that.
85% of the young men that we recruit are captains. This past year.
That's a huge deal.
Oh, it is, because they're achievers. They want to be coached.
Tell the people about your grades. You gave me off air, you gave me a grade. That's unbelievable.
37 young men on our football team had a 3.5 GPA or above this past semester.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, the emphasis is obviously on academics. Football's a conduit to make them better men. But the support that we have at Siena Heights, the young men that we recruited who believed us, all we recruited them on was a promise. You were clicking off all those things. Do we have this? Do we have it? We had none of it.
Yeah, right.
None of it. But we had a great group of coaches, and we had guys that understood the mission of Siena Heights. And we went out and recruited young men that fit that mission, and it's paid off.
Donovan, what did Siena, I mean, you know, you've always been a winner, and you're that kind of personality. You can tell, you know, you're upbeat, you're positive, you're going to be a winner, you're going to give 1,000% every time you go out in something. But what did you take away from Siena Heights athletically from the football program? What was your takeaway there, something that you'll carry with you the rest of your life? And then academically?
Well, first off, athletically is definitely us winning the league, winning the championship in 4 years. Just like you said, you know, it doesn't happen.
No.
And, you know, with the great group of coaches we had and the great group of seniors and the great team that we had, you know, Coach Lyle always told us seniors, you know, those who stay will be champions. And, you know, he says that as a you know, freshman and sophomore, you're like, all right, you know, okay. And then when it happens, you're like, yo, like
he meant it.
Yeah,
he was right.
So it's just, you know, that was neat, and that was great, and that's something that will always, you know, be with us, you know, as we get our rings. That like you look at them and you go like, man, like you look at your hand like, man, like we did this, like we achieved this, and so that is what I take away from it athletically. And academically would definitely be preparation. And, you know, just always being prepared in the classroom, you know, showing up ready, you know, ready to discuss a story that you had to read, you know, 2 nights ago for, you know, for class, or showing up ready to turn in a paper that you had to type up, you know, a week before, and just always staying on top of things, and always, and like I said, always being prepared. I myself sometimes am a procrastinator, but I've come to find when I get things done and organized ahead of time, and I'm on top of things work a lot more efficiently for me.
Well, and that's why the game is so important, Donovan. I think Jim would back me up in this, is you learn things about yourself. You know, everybody knows what they kind of have an idea what they do well, but to be able to look at yourself and say, hey, you know what, I'm really not that good at this. I need to get better at it. That's when growth occurs. You know, if you're always talking about what you do well, yeah, but I get this whole other, you know.
Right.
So, you know, really, you know, Donovan, on behalf of Buckeye Cable and BCSN, you know, you are, as an All-American, and you are an example to young people about the right way to do things. You epitomize doing the right thing on the field as a competitor with class, doing the right thing in the classroom. You're a winner, and I think sport is much better off when they have examples like you, that young people, because young people need examples, and to be able to look at someone like you and say, hey, I'd like to be like Donovan someday. And I know you're in communications, so you probably have my job next week. And we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll get you involved with the BCSN network. And Jim, I've known you for a lifetime, and we've had this chat before, but I've known a lot of coaches, and you're a guy that cares about his kids. You're a guy that cares that they get degrees, and you care that they're going to be great family people and great professionals. And I think we have more people in football that have that view. We're all going to be a whole lot better off. And oh, by the way, all you do is win. Winningest coach in the history of Adrian, league championship in Siena in 4 years. Congratulations to you, Jim. Yeah, Donovan, we'll be calling you at BCSN, all right?
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Tom Coley, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN.